Hello everyone, my name is Sarah. Welcome to my channel. I make content about nursing and college, and I'm documenting my nursing journey. So thank you for following along and subscribing and commenting and all that good stuff. Today I'm going to be going over basically like the basic things we need to know for ATI TEAS Math. I did really well on the math section. I got a perfect score. So I feel like I could definitely help some of you out with just understanding like the concepts that are on it, what you need to know, all that good stuff. So if I'm looking down, I have, I have my iPad, and then I also have my laptop. I have my laptop for like the general outline of what I'm saying, and then I'm going to be doing practice problems like on my iPad. So if I'm looking down, I'm looking at one of those two things. I'm going to try my absolute best to also record my screen on my iPad so you can see like what I'm doing. So if it's edited weird, I'm really sorry. I was trying to figure out for the longest time like how I would even go about making this video. So I'm sorry it took so long, but I'm here now. So hopefully you guys can forgive me. Let me see, where did I put it? There we go. Okay, so the list of things that I wrote down is, pretty short. It seems like it was a lot of like repetitiveness on the test. Like it was like a few concepts, so they really just question after question, same concept pretty much. So the main heavy hitters are percentages, decimals, and fractions, basic like algebraic equations, lots of ratios, and like figuring out like the percentage of things. And then some of them was like, shapes, so like area, finding the area of something, finding the perimeter of something, surface area, things like that. So that was like the main part, which like good news is less overall like topics for you to study, but it's definitely going to be challenging if these things don't come naturally to you. So I would recommend taking a practice test, finding your areas of improvement, and then just like really studying those. Math is one of those subjects that the reason why I did so well on it was because I was able to check all my answers like as I was doing it. Like I knew I had the right answer because I was able to check myself. Obviously I didn't have access to the answers, but like, you know what I mean? Like I was able to like work backwards to know that I definitely had the right answer. So that's definitely a tip. If you understand how to solve the problem, you can also understand how to check yourself. And that was literally how I got a perfect score, because I was able to check myself with pretty much every problem. So I'm going to read over the basic concepts and like topics you need to know for the test. I wrote that you have access to a calculator, whether you're taking it in person. I took it remotely. So it's like a little pop-up calculator. It's like a basic like 4-function one. So you don't really need to review anything about like addition, subtraction, division. Like you can easily just plug those into the calculator and you'll be fine. As long as you plug in the right numbers, like you're okay. So like some of the questions were like, it wanted you to like write it out on paper, like would have you like multiply like 2-digit factors together to just put it in the calculator. Don't even bother. So just one thing you need to remember, if you're multiplying negative numbers, if one of the numbers are negative, your product is going to be negative, sorry. And if both of your factors are negative, your product is going to be positive. And same thing goes for division pretty much. So let me see if my Apple Pencil's charged. It probably isn't. Oh my God, I'm such a hot mess. Sorry. I'm just going to charge it like super fast. I really should have been more prepared for this video. I'm sorry, guys. So basically, you need to know PEMDAS or order of operations. You need to know how that works. We'll go over that in a second. You need to know, a number to the 0 power is equal to 1. A number to the negative power is like 1 over the number with the absolute value of that exponent. So like 2 to the negative 3 is going to be equal to 1 over 2 to the 3rd, I think. I could double check, but like that's how I did it. You need to know common denominator and least common multiple. You need to know how to arrange fractions by greatest to least or vice versa. And for this, you could literally just plug the fractions into a calculator. So if it's asking you to do like, which one's bigger, 3/5 or 1/2, you can just literally just do 3 divided by 5 and then 1 divided by 2 and just see which number's bigger. And like, that's your answer. Like, you don't need to understand fractions like that much to literally, if you don't know, just plug it into the calculator and you'll be fine. You do need to know your numbered places. So like, you know, the millions place, 100,000s, 10,000s, thousands, hundreds, tens, ones, and then tenths, hundredths. Once you get into like the decimal place, it's like THS is the ending. You need to know how to convert fractions into decimals. Pretty much plug it into the calculator and the number is going to show up as a decimal. And then you need to taking the decimal value and placing it over. Oh, and then converting, we're going to go over this in a little bit more detail, but how to convert decimals into fractions. Basically, short answer is you look at the place that it's in. So say like 0.35. The last number of the decimal ends in the hundredths place. So it's going to be 35 over 100, and we'll simplify it. I don't know if you can simplify that. So it'd be what, like 7 over 20? Just, you know, we'll go over it in more detail. You need to know how to convert percentages into decimals and vice versa. You need to be familiar with proportions and ratios. You know, you need to know how to multiply polynomials. You just like add and subtract them as well. 1 and 2-step algebraic equations, those inequalities. And then you need to remember that if you divide by a negative number, the inequality is going to flip. So you need to know how to estimate, which most people do. You need to know how to do exponents. And then, like I said, perimeter, area. You need to know the circumference of a circle, area of a circle, how to find volume, and how to find surface area. And for me, like, that was pretty much like more or less the whole test. So I'm going to start recording. Okay, so just math review. I'm creating a notebook. Okay, so. Okay, so I have draw. So this is the math. I'm writing an R, review. Okay, so I'm just going to start from the top. So PEMDAS. So that's going to be, I'm just going to write it like this. So we have first is parentheses, that's embarrassing. Parentheses. I'm so bad at spelling. This is why I got a 75 in English, guys. Then exponents. Yikes. Yikes, ignore me. I've been up since like 4 a.m. this morning. Exponents. Right. Then you have multiplication and division. It's going to happen whichever comes first from left to right. And then addition and subtraction. So if you have an expression that looks like, let's just say, we'll put 2 plus 3 squared times 4 plus 7 times 6. You're going to solve what's in the parentheses first. So this is the P part. And within the parentheses, you're going to do your exponent first. So it's going to be 2 plus 9. So that's going to be 11 times 4 plus 7 times 6. You're going to go from left to right. So multiplication, I should have divided by 6, but it's fine. Multiplication, so 44 plus 7 times 6. 7 times 6 is 42, I think. And then you're going to add them together. 42 and 44, 86. So 86 is going to be your answer. If they did like, I don't know, in parentheses, this is just a basic one. So I'm going to try another one. If they did like 5 or 4 times 5, let me just write this differently. 4 plus 5 times 2 minus 7 divided by 2. Nope, don't want to do that. That's going to be an ugly number. So we'll just do that. I jumped ahead of myself. So 5 times 2 is 10 plus 4. So then we have 14 minus 7 squared, 14. Minus 7 squared is positive 49 because a negative multiplied by a negative is going to be a positive. And then, I'm so sorry, I don't have a calculator. Nope, that's wrong. I promise I know how to do math. 13. And then 63 is going to be your answer there. So just simple review. If PEMDAS or the concept of order of operations is a little tricky for you, I would definitely find other math review videos to go over. I just don't want to spend too much time on one topic just because, you know, some people it may come naturally to. So for them, I'm going to skip around. So let's see. Common denominator and least common multiple. So these go together because when you're adding fractions, for example, so you have like 6 over 12 plus, we'll do 3 over 4. Those denominators are going to need to be the same in order to add a fraction together. So what you're going to need to do is find the least common multiple of the denominators and then make those common denominators. So least common multiple of 12 and 4 is 12. So 6 over 12 stays the same. I'm going to make the denominator 12 by multiplying 3 over 3, multiplying it by 1 basically. And when you multiply it by 1, the number itself doesn't change, but like it looks like it changes, but it doesn't. The actual value of the number stays the same. So then this is going to be plus 9 over 12. This is going to equal 15 over 12. And this is an improper fraction, so the test is going to want you to put it in a proper fraction form. So it's going to be 1 and 3. Oh, I lied. No, I didn't. 1 and... Where did I go? 1 and 3/12. Why is that right? Okay, 1 and 3/12. It's going to want you to simplify. So you would basically just divide 3 into 12. So it's going to be 1 and 1 over 4. Hopefully I'm doing this right. I'm literally just making my own questions as I go. So if I do my own questions wrong, I'm so sorry. I've been up since 4 a.m. this morning. It's now like 9 p.m. My brain is done, but we're doing this anyway because I want to get this video out for you guys. So that's how you would add fractions together. An incorrect answer would be 9 over 16. That's wrong because you can't add denominators. The denominator is going to stay the same. The numerator, or the number on top, is what actually is changing. So moving along, same idea with subtracting. So for example, 5 over 7 minus 2 over 5. It's not going to be 3 over 2. That is a wrong answer. You need to make sure those denominators are the same. So least common multiple of 7 and 5, I'm pretty sure is 35. So you need to know that 7 times 5 is 35. So you're going to multiply this one by 7 over 7, and you're going to multiply this one by 5 over 5. So 5 times 5 is 25 over 35, minus 2 times 7 is 14 over 35, and then you're going to have 11 over 35. I don't think that simplifies into anything else, so that's your answer. Multiplying fractions is the fun part because you literally just multiply straight across. So for example, 3 over 5 times 2 over 3, you literally just multiply numerators, you multiply denominators. So it's going to be 6 over 15. That's going to simplify to 2 over 5. That does not sound right. I think that is right. We're going to say that's right. And then dividing fractions is super fun. You are going to, so let's do 3 over 7 divided by, let's do 4 over 8. What you're gonna do is just choose a lucky fraction. I like to choose the second one. You're gonna flip it. So you're gonna invert these, and then you're gonna multiply. So 3 over 7 times 8 over 4. And then you just multiply straight across. So then 24 over 28. And that's gonna simplify to something. Do I divide by 4? I think it's over 4. Yeah, so 6/7. Hopefully it makes sense. I should probably go over how to simplify fractions. That would be a thing. So simplifying fractions, the way that I do it is you just have to remember, like, I think it's the greatest common factor. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Of these two numbers is 4. So when you divide each of these numbers by 4, that's how you get the simplified fraction. So 4 divided by 24 equals 6, and then 28 divided by 4 is 7. And then your simplified fraction is going to be 6 over 7. Again, if you really wanted to, you could get your unsimplified fraction and plug it into the calculator and just see what answers match up. So if you really didn't know, if you really were unsure of an answer, like that is one of those things that you would just plug into the calculator and just hope your answers match. Because I did that several times, and that's how I got the right answer. Because I was like, oh, I'll just put it into the calculator, see what happens. Let's see. So arranging fractions from greatest to least. So again, this is going to be the same idea of the right way to do it, if you didn't have a calculator, would be to make all of them have this like common denominator and just order by the numerators. So I'll do 1/2. I'll make this easy. So I'll do 1/2. I'll do 2. That's not easy. I'll just do this. 1/2. I have 3/4. I have 5/8. I have 12. No, it's not even a number. 13/16. So how do we know which one is which? So we're gonna make all these have the same denominator. In this case, I made it simple. It's gonna be 16. So this one is going to multiply by 8. This one's gonna multiply by 4. This one's gonna be 2. And then this one's gonna stay the same. So I have 8 over 16. I have 12 over 16. 10 over 16, and then I have 13 over 16. First, if we're doing from least to greatest, so 8/16. Actually, no. So then this is, I'll just make this first. 10/16 is going to be second, 12/16 is going to be third, and then 13/16 is going to be fourth. So it's going to be 1/2, 5/8, 3/4, 14/16, 13/16, sorry, I'm like tired. 13/16, and like that's how you would arrange them. Short way, if you don't have time, is to literally plug this into a calculator, and then your decimals are going to be from greatest to least. Like that's it. But you know, if you wanted to check yourself, like that's how you would put it in the calculator to make sure you got the right answer. All right, so another thing you need to know is your number places. So I'll do like 8, 4, 1, 2, 9, 8, whatever. I'm just making up a random number here. 0.6725. Okay, so we have the millions, hundred, thousands, 10,000s, thousands, hundreds, tens, keep drawing the backwards arrow, ones, And then decimal, it's going to pretty much mimic like your whole numbers. It's just going to skip over the ones, and it's just going to go straight into tenths. So then it's going to be tenths, hundredths, thousands, and then like 10,000ths. So one thing to know about the number places, if your ending is THS, that's, you're talking about like the decimal. If it ends in like DS or, you know, S, that's going to be talking about like your whole number places. So definitely need to remember the difference between like hundredths and hundreds, like what that means. So this is going to help you figure out how to convert decimals into percentages. So, you know, a percentage is something out of 100. So if you have a decimal that's 67, this is in the hundredths place, this is going to be 67%. Because 67 out of 100, you know, it's going to be like 67 out of 100. These all equal the same thing. So going from, I don't know how to, okay, so you just need to remember that percentages, to do percentage into fractions, super simple. You're going to take the number and literally just stick 100 underneath it, like if it's a percentage. So like 6, 7, let's just do a new one. So 56% equals 56 out of 100. When you're converting fractions into percentages, you're going to make the denominator 100, whatever it is. So, and then your numerator is going to be the percent. So let's scooch over here. So say we have, I don't know, 3/4. You need to think, okay, so how do I get from 4 to 100? You multiply by 25. So 25 over 25 equals 75 over 100, which would equal 75%. Let's do a more obscure number. We can do, I don't know, 8. I'm trying to think of a number that's really easy to do, that goes into 100 really well, besides 50. Let's do 20. So we can do 17 over 20. 20 goes into 100 5 times. So you're going to multiply top and bottom by 5 over 5. So that's going to equal 100. If I have 17 nickels, how many? What is that, like 85? I think. We're going to say 85. I'm going to put it in really quick. I might be wrong. Oh no, it's 85. Okay, cool. So 85 over 100 equals 85%. Hopefully get the idea. Going backwards though, let's say going from percentage to decimal. So you're going to understand that 100%, you're going to be doing it over 100. So you're literally going to be taking the percentage and moving it to decimal place, and that's your decimal. So 85% is going to be 0.85. Say you had 85.2%, you're going to move that decimal over, so it's going to be 0.852. That's it. Say you want to convert a decimal into a percentage. You're going to take the decimal and move it 2 places the other way. So say you have 0.009 or 0.009 or 9,000ths. Yeah, 9,000ths. That's like the correct way to say it. You're going to take the decimal place and move it over 2. It's going to be 0.9%. And that's it. So that's it for that. So we are moving on into, let's see, proportions and ratios. So 2, 3, and then, so 2 is a 3, and then you have to remember, it's gonna like basically give you like a blank number, and it's gonna ask you to figure out like this. And so basically what we have to do is figure out the relationship between them. So what is changing? This is being multiplied by 2. It's always going to be multiplying or dividing by something. They're not going to like have you add something. So for ratios, you just have to remember, it's like, okay, this is being multiplied by 2, so then this is also going to be multiplied by 2. So like, if they asked like 5 to 12 and then gave you 10 and they wanted you to figure out what x was, you'd have to go, okay, so this is doubling, so then this has to double. So 10 to 24. Like that's how you'd figure that out. That's at least like how my brain works. So that's like ratios really quick. Proportions are really fun. So they're going to be pretty much fractions and percentages is like what you're going to be constantly working and flipping in between. So for example, let's just say out of 15 students, 5 are boys. So then you'd have to go, okay, how many are girls or something? Oh, what is the percentage of girls in the class? This is like a thing that they would ask. Determine so basically like you'd have to know, okay, so out of 15 students, 5 are boys, so that means 10 are girls. So 10 out of 15 are girls. You want to convert this into a number over 100, basically a percentage. What you're going to do is I've learned to cross multiply and divide. So you're going to multiply 100 by 10. It's going to give you 1,000. And then divide that by 15. Plug that into your calculator, see what you get. And that's your percentage. So we have 66.6 repeating. They might round it up to 67. So 67% are girls. And then working backwards, we can just change the numbers around. They can give you the total number of people in a class. So let's just say that there are 20 people in a class. 20 students. Sorry, my handwriting is like so sloppy. In a class. And then we can say 80%. Sorry if I just realized this. Sorry if my word problems are like not gender inclusive. I didn't mean that was just the first thing. Okay, so let's just say 80% are wearing red shirts. The other students are wearing green shirts. How many students are wearing, we'll find red shirts. So if there are 20 students in the class, you want to find the number of students. So you're going to set up your denominator as 20 because their whole is 20. They gave you the percent, so that's going to equal 80 over 100. And because they want to know how many people are wearing red shirts. If the question was asking how many people were wearing green shirts, you'd know, okay, so if 80% are wearing red, that means 20% are wearing green. You would set your percentage to be 20 over 100 instead of 80. And then we're cross multiplying. So 80 times 20 is 1600, divided by 100 is 16. So your answer is 16 people wearing red shirts, which means 4 are wearing green shirts, but that's not what the question's asking. And the way you would check yourself, the way that I like to do it is 80% of 20. So you can literally plug into the calculator 0.8, because that's what 80% is. It's 0.80 times 20, and it's going to give you 16. So if you didn't know how to make sure you have the right answer, you can think of it that way. It's like, okay, so like what is 80% of 20? And just put that in the calculator and it's going to say 16. It's just double check that. I don't even know if I have a calculator in here. I don't think I do. I might. I don't think I do. No, I don't. Okay, whatever. So 80% of 20, this is going to give you 16 when you plug it into the calculator. So we'll do some more practice problems with proportions and percentages because that's pretty much what they're going to be asking most of the time. I did get a question that didn't use percentages at all, but instead of setting for percentage, you literally just figure out, you know, what that is. So another type of proportion question you might get is asking you to find like the rate of something. So basically like, you know, if we'll say Destiny traveled we'll say, I don't know, 600 miles in 3 hours. How many miles did she drive in 1 hour? Basically, it's going to stipulate that it's going the same speed, so it's pretty much equal. So 600 miles, 3 hours, so that would be 1 hour equals how many miles? So you're going to cross multiply and then divide. So 1 times 600 is 600. Then divide that by 3. Hopefully I have a nice number. I don't know if I'll do. Oh, 200. So that means 200 miles in 1 hour. Basically, it could ask you to go a step further to say if she drove, you know, 600 miles in 3 hours, how many miles will she drive in 5 hours? Into which you would find the rate for 1 and then multiply that by the number you need. So since we know that she's driving 200 miles in 1 hour, we can multiply that by 5, right? 5 hours. Sorry, 5 hours, and then 5, I guess, miles, right? Because 1, you basically multiply it by 1 just to find a new number. And then so that would be 5 hours. I promise I know how to spell. 5 hours would be 1,000 miles, pretty much. Again, you could know if your proportions are equal. If you divide them, if you plug them into the calculator and they end up being the same, then you know you have the right answer. So, you know, if we did 600 divided by 3, it's going to equal the same as 1,000 divided by 5. Like those both equal 200. So you know you had the right answer, right? Because you know your proportions are equal. Okay, so we did that. So multiplying polynomials is my absolute favorite. I love doing that. It's so much fun. Let's see. I'm gonna erase this really quick. Okay, so a polynomial looks like this. So we'll do like x3 plus 4x plus 7. So it's gonna look like that. We'll do adding them first. Let's do some parentheses. Plus, we'll do 2x plus, we'll do minus 2x squared minus 5. Basically, you're just combining like terms. So anything that has like x to the 3 is a like term. Regular, just plain numbers are like terms. So I'm just going to circle our like terms. So these are like terms. These are like terms. The reason why 4x and negative 2x squared are not like terms is because they have different exponents. So those are going to be different terms. So you put them together. So x cubed and 2x cubed, you're going to just treat this this x cubed as if it were a 1. So this is going to be 3x cubed. You're going to do minus 2x squared because that's by itself. It doesn't have a friend. Positive 4x doesn't have a friend either. Positive 7 and negative 5 equals 2, positive 2. So your solution's going to look like this. Say they were having you subtract. Basically what you're doing is doing the same thing. You're just going to flip this. I just flipped the second sign. So let's say I'm just going to do this a little bit easier. So you have 2x squared plus 6x minus 4. And then you're subtracting. I'll just say negative 2x squared plus 7x plus 6. What you're going to do is, turn this into a positive, and then you're going to flip all the other signs. So this becomes a positive, this becomes a negative, and then this also becomes a negative. And then you're still going to combine. So 2x plus 2x is 4x squared, plus 6x minus 7 is going to be negative 1, so negative x. And then minus 4 and minus 6 is negative 10. And so that would be your answer. And then for multiplying them, it's so much fun. I'll try to keep it as simple as I can. So x squared plus 5 times, we'll do 3x plus 4x minus 1. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with your first person, and then you're going to multiply these first. So x squared plus 3x squared. Sorry, I have to think about this for a second. You know, we're just going to do x. Just kidding. We're just going to do x because I get too confused. I get confused too. All right, so x times 3x is going to be, you're going to just add up the exponents basically. So this is like an indivisible 1. So it's going to be 3x cubed. And then, so we did that first. Next, we're going to multiply this. So x times 4x is going to be 4x squared. And then x minus 1 is going to be minus x. So we did that. Now we're going to be multiplying 5 and just bringing it around town to these little guys. So then 5 times 3 is going to be plus 15x squared plus 5 times 4 is 20x, and then minus 5. So that's 5 times negative 1. Now you have this nice long string. You're going to combine like terms. So just so we can see them. Positive 4x squared and positive 15x are like terms. Negative x and positive 20x are like terms. So we have 3x cubed, and then plus 4 and plus 15 give you plus 19x squared. Negative, basically 1 minus 20, so negative 1 and positive 20 gives you positive 19x, and then minus 5. So that is going to be you multiplying polynomials. You're basically, distributing and then combining like terms at the end. So now moving on to the fun stuff, algebraic equations and inequalities. So much fun. I'm trying to figure out if there's a better way to erase this stuff. I don't know if there is. We're just going to pretend that there is. Okay, so hopefully you've seen basic algebraic expressions. You shouldn't really be seeing anything too crazy. You're going to be seeing 1-step and 2-step problems. So basically 5 equals x plus 7. You're going to solve for x. You just get x by itself. So what you do to one side, you have to do the other. You're basically just trying to neutralize everything. So you're going to take away 7 because you want 7 over here. You want 7. You want x on one side of the equal sign. So you're going to subtract 7. So then x equals -2. So we can do like, that's like a 1-step problem, and then a 2-step problem would look like 10 equals 2x plus 4. I know I'm not gonna like this. So you're going to subtract 4. Oh, maybe I will. 6 equals 2x, and then divide by 2. So then x equals 3. And then again, if you wanted to check yourself, you would just plug your number back into the equation. So for the first one, it would be 5 equals -2 plus 7. That's a funny way of just saying 5 equals 7 minus 2. 5 equals 5, so that is correct. We have 3, so 10 equals 2 times 3 plus 4. 10 equals 6 plus 4. 10 equals 10. So you got that one right too. And that's how you would check those. And pretty simple overall. You're not really you shouldn't see anything like crazy. You might see these as word problems as well. You're going to be asked like something like, write an expression that represents like 2 more than something. So it'd be like x plus 2, or 2 times the product of something plus 4. It's like 2x plus 4. Like, 4 more than 2 times the product of something would be like 2x plus 4. So you'd have to like remember like how to write down expressions. I can't really I don't know how to practice that with you other than just like verbally saying it. Okay, so the last thing is going to be just basic like shapes. So what you need to know is perimeter is just adding up all the sides. It's not going to be as simple as like having like a rectangle, like 3, 2. You'd have to know like, okay, so rectangles are congruent. So then this would have to be also 3, and then this is also 2. So we have 6 plus 4. So then the perimeter equals 10. Area would be finding like the inside of this. So you'd multiply these 2 together. So then A would equal 6. This equals P. Perimeter equals 10. Volume of something is a 3-dimensional object. So if you have like a rectangular prism, I'm really bad at drawing these, I'm so sorry. You're going to multiply length times width times height. Base with height. Basically just multiply the 3 sides. So if your length equals 2, your width, I think it's depth. Your length is 2, your width is 4. Let's say your depth is like 5. You just multiply all these together. So 2 times 4 is 8, times 5 is 40. So your volume would equal 40. For a cube, it's going to be just sides squared. So you only need one side because, cube is squares. So let's just say, I don't know, 4 for, a cube. This is not drawn to scale. I don't know if this is actually a cube, probably not. So if they asked you to find the volume of it, you just 4 times 4 times 4 equals 64. That would be your volume. For surface area, you're kind of like finding the area of each individual side and adding them all up together. So going back to our rectangle example with this, you're going to be doing 2LW plus 2WH plus, this is supposed to be plus sometimes, plus 2, what is this? LH. So if it told you like your length is equal to 6, your height is equal to 2, and then your width is equal to like 3, you would do 2 times 6 times 2 plus 2 times 3 times 2 plus 2 times 3 plus 6. And the reason why you're doubling everything is because the rectangular prism has 6 sides. And so 2 of those sides, the opposite facing ones, are going to be the same. So that's why the formula is the way it is. I'm a little bit lazy at this point to do the math, so that's how you would set it up, and then just, you know, write it down on your piece of paper, put it in the calculator, whatever you need to do to get the right answer. Okay, so before I jump into a circle, because I was about to, just super quick, we're just going to go over area for a triangle. Basically, it's going to be half of the area of a rectangle. Okay, so if you can picture like a rectangle, right? And if a triangle is half of that rectangle, the area is going to be half of the the area of the triangle is going to be half the area of the rectangle, right? Because the triangle is like half a rectangle. Even a triangle looks like this. If you like extend the sides, you still get a rectangle. So that's why the formula is going to be half base times height, right? The area for a rectangle is just going to be base times height. Hopefully that makes sense, like visually. So if you have like 6 and 2, your area is going to be 6. Basically, you multiply these two together to get 12, and then you divide that by 2 to get 6. So that's that. I think that was pretty much what you needed to know for that. You might get like a really funky shape like this, and they're going to ask you to find the area of this. So the strategy that you can use, you can go about this one of two ways. So they'll give you like, you know, 6, 5. They'll say that like, this is like 2 or something. And they might give you this side. So let's say this is also 2. So what you could do is, let me just shade this part in. So you have 2 options to find the area of the like black shaded part here. You could, the less complicated solution in my opinion is to multiply 6 times 5 to get 30 and then subtract the area of this to find the area of the shaded part. So, you know, minus 4. So your area of the shaded part would be 26. Okay, so moving on to circumference and area of a circle. This is where our good friend pi comes in. So this is a really imperfect circle. I'm going to see if I can draw a better one. Sorry. Ooh, still not a perfect circle, but it's fine. So going over, we have the radius, which is going to be half of your diameter. So like radius would look like this. Your diameter is going to go all the way across. It's going to be the green. So, you know, your diameter is always going to be double the radius because your radius is going to be the outside of the circle to the midpoint. If you know, extend it again from the other midpoint, you're going to have a diameter. So just remember that radius is half of diameter. And then in geometry class, I knew that circumference was equal to pi d. And then area was pi r squared. So I remember cherry pies are delicious. Apple pies are too. So pi r2 was pi r squared, and then cherry pies delicious. Pi d, pi diameter. So something you can know is that, again, diameter equals twice the radius. So if you only had the radius and had to find the circumference, so let's say, I'm just gonna use this. So let's say they gave you 2. Let's say the radius was 2, and they told you to find the circumference. What you would do is you would know, oh, if I just double this, the diameter is going to equal 4. So your circumference would be pi. They're going to tell you to use 3.14. Wow, I can't write today. 3.14. And then multiply that by the diameter, which is going to be 2. So, and that's going to be your circumference. If they wanted you to find the area, what you would do is do area would equal pi times 2 squared. So pi times 4. If your circumference was 6, if your radius was 6, sorry, your circumference would be pi times 12, right? Because that would mean your diameter is equal to 12, because you just double 6. And then your area would be pi times 36, or 6 squared. So a really cool question, a really cool like way, to also think about this in terms of perimeter. If they gave you, for example, like a semicircle and told you to find the perimeter, what you would do is you would find the circumference, right? You would slice it in half, divide it in half, and then you would add on the diameter. Hopefully that makes sense. So what you're finding out, right, is this red, well, that's area. Let me just make this simpler. What you're gonna look for is this part, right? So hopefully this makes sense. It's gonna be half of your circumference, and you're gonna add on what your diameter is. If they wanted you to find a quarter of it, you would divide your circumference by 4, and then you would add the radius twice, right? Because these are both going to be your radius. Hopefully this makes sense. If they wanted you to figure out what the area of this was, you just literally just take your area and just divide it by 4, like or you could multiply by 0.25, that's like a quarter of it. And then same thing if they wanted you to figure out like what half of the area of something, of like a circle was, you would take your area and just have it. So if they gave you like a semicircle or like, a corner of a circle like this, you know what to do. So some of it requires a little bit of critical thinking. And really that's pretty much it for the math review part. I really didn't, the only formulas that I recommend you memorize, the basic like area and perimeter of different shapes. So trapezoid, I would know square, triangle, rectangle. I would know the surface area of a rectangular prism, which is like, we went over that. I would know the volume of rectangular prisms and cubes. I would know the circumference and area of a circle. I would know how to find the perimeter of something. Also, you need to know like how to convert units. This didn't come up too much on the test, but like you need to know like the metric system, like going from milliliters to centimeters, like how to basically move decimal places over. You need to know the millis thousandths, and centi is 100, deci is 10. So like if they gave you 10 decimeters, how many centimeters is that? Basically you need to know how to convert between like decimeters and centimeters to millimeters and milliliters to meters and like things like that. So it basically just has to deal with moving decimals over. You just have to basically just memorize like where they are. I wouldn't go like too crazy. I would only memorize like between kilo and milli. Like, so like the thousands place to the thousandths place. I would just memorize those. Other than that, you're probably fine. Like I thought I needed to memorize like a lot of things and I really didn't. It would be helpful to know how to convert pounds to kilograms and vice versa. It would be helpful to know inches to centimeters and yards to feet, miles to kilometers, like things like that. But they might give you the formula. I don't remember if they did, but like you don't, if worst comes to worst, if you can't remember the exact numbers, just estimate and just hope for the best. So that is pretty much it for my math review. I only did one part. Hopefully it wasn't too long. Good luck. If you have any questions on anything, like message me. I'll, get back to you. I'm not perfect at math by any means, but, math, like, it came very naturally for me. I really didn't study that much. I studied like a few, maybe like 3 days. Out of my 5 weeks, it was 3 days of math, and I, on my practice test, I got 1 away from a perfect score. I got 35 out of 36 questions, and when I got my results back for my actual TEAS, I was like, oh my god, I got a perfect math score. Like, whoa. Because there were some questions that were like really iffy, but if you're able to understand what the question is asking, definitely take your time, check yourself. You know, if you're a quick test taker like me, you definitely, if you have time to check yourself, do it. Like, take advantage of the extra time, you know, that you have to check yourself. If math doesn't come as naturally to you and you find yourself, you know, trying to figure out how to solve a problem, see if you can work backwards. Like, see if you can plug answers into the equation and see if the equation balances out, you know. For percentages, like if you need to convert a percentage into a decimal, put the percentage into the calculator. Do, you know, what is, you know, 9% as a decimal? Just do 9 over 100 and you'll get your answer. Or, you know, if you know how to do it as a fraction, like do whatever you got to do to get the right answer. So that is my advice to you guys. I'm gonna be filming videos like a bunch because over the next week or so I'm gonna be with my boyfriend. We're long distance and he's visiting, so I'm probably not gonna be filming any videos. I'm gonna be like literally editing like nonstop. I'm gonna just upload videos and I won't see you for like another week, because this past week I was filming a bunch of videos, so this week I'm gonna edit all of them and upload them. So I will see you guys in like 2 weeks or so. So by then you'll get another pre-nursing day in the life. You guys seem to like those videos. I'm really happy about that. Yeah, I have some really fun unboxings and reviews coming up, so it's like super exciting. I do plan to just do like an overall TEAS video on like how I got the story that I got, like how I studied, what I studied, the different materials that I used, and like my views on that and thoughts on that. So, because I do get some questions on that. So, and I definitely want to help you guys out and like share what works for me. So watch out for those videos in the future. Until next time, I will see you soon. Oh, I also wanted to say thank you again so much for supporting my channel. It means so much to me just to see my, like, see people like actually be engaged. It's like so, it's like such a nice feeling that like it feels like I'm making some sort of an impact. So I want to be your support. So if you have any questions, if you need like a study buddy, like DM me on Instagram, we can be friends. It's at Delightfully Sarah. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm really bad at filming outros. So I'll see you next time.